The NFL has boomed over recent decades thanks mainly to the contributions of its legendary players. Icons such as Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Calvin Ridley, and Ray Lewis captivated fans and elevated the game to new heights. These athletes are celebrated for the remarkable, accolade-filled careers that are spanned over a decade or more, reserving them special status as NFL legends. However, even some of the greatest careers had humble beginnings. Here are some of their first games in the NFL. The New England Patriots got their first look at sixth-rounder sophomore quarterback Tom Brady on September 30th, 2001. Brady stepped in to replace an injured Drew Bledsoe against the Indianapolis Colts before completing 13 of 23 passes for 168 yards, no touchdowns, and no interceptions. It was a very honestly mediocre start for Tom Brady, but the rest of his career was pretty much the polar opposite of that. And despite him completing just 57% of his passes, the team dominated the Colts that night by 44 points to 13. And following that relatively unsuspecting start, Brady kept a hold of the starting role and promptly led the team to an 11-5 record in their first division title in 4 years. 18 touchdowns to 12 interceptions throughout the regular season is still nothing to get too excited about, but we all know what happened next. Helped largely by an effective run game and a good defense, Brady and the Patriots made it all the way to the Super Bowl, where they beat the St. Louis Rams. And out of nowhere, the Patriots had won their first Super Bowl and, unknown to everyone, had just started the sport's greatest dynasty. 2 more Super Bowl titles arrived in the next 3 years, and 3 more came over a decade later. Tom Brady piloted all the glorious action, taking his side to the playoffs in 17 of 19 seasons in charge. A 7th title was added after a move to Tampa Bay, proving his status as the greatest NFL player of all time. His final career stats stand at 89,214 yards and 649 touchdowns, both of which are the most of all time in both categories. On top of his 7 rings, Brady also enjoyed 3 NFL MVP awards, 2 Comeback Player of the Year awards, 3 First-Team All-Pros, 15 Pro Bowls, and countless other awards. Peyton Manning's debut came on September 6, 1998, with the Indianapolis Colts taking on the Miami Dolphins. We all remember Peyton Manning for his legendary career, but the beginning of that was completely the opposite, not helped by the lofty expectations that come with being the #1 overall pick. Against the Dolphins, Manning threw for 302 yards and 1 touchdown, but 3 interceptions, and the team went on to lose 24-15. And unfortunately, on top of that, interceptions were a big part of Manning's rookie season, with the #1 overall pick giving away 28 of them, which still stands as the 15th most by a quarterback in a single season. Thankfully, as his career progressed, the interception numbers started to come down and the yardage numbers ticked up. Manning became one of the league's premier passers, helping the Colts win a Super Bowl in 2006. After 13 years with the Colts, he then decided to try his luck in Denver, where he somehow got even better. In his second season in new colors, Manning threw for 5,477 yards, 55 touchdowns, and just 10 interceptions. He then capped off his career 2 years later with his second Super Bowl win, this time toppling the Carolina Panthers. His 71,840 yards and 539 touchdowns are both good enough for 3rd on the all-time leaderboards, also helping to earn him 5 MVP awards, 2 Offensive Player of the Year awards, 7 First-Team All-Pros, and 14 Pro Bowls. He also led the league in passing yards 3 times and in passing touchdowns 4 times. Brees made his debut for the San Diego Chargers on November 4th, 2001 against the Kansas City Chiefs. And here he immediately showed poise and competence, completing 15 of 27 passes for 221 yards, 1 touchdown, and 0 interceptions. Unfortunately, it wasn't a losing effort, but the signs were promising that Drew Brees had a lot of potential. Brees' career spanned 20 years, elevating to Hall of Fame worthy status after a move to New Orleans to play for the Saints. Here, Brees thrived in Sean Payton's quick passing offense, utilizing his processing ability and pinpoint accuracy to absolutely carve up NFL defenses. The results were spectacular, with Brees registering at least 4,300 passing yards and 23 touchdowns every year between 2006 and 2018. During that stretch, Brees won his only Super Bowl ring, 2 NFL Offensive Player of the Year awards, and led the league in passing yards 7 times and in passing touchdowns 4 times. His final tally of 80,358 yards and 571 touchdowns is second to only Tom Brady on the all-time leaderboard. Now, Oakland was the first team tasked with stopping the towering receiver who eased into life in the NFL by collecting 4 receptions for 70 yards and a touchdown in his debut. There was a lot of hype around the former second overall pick, and his combination of size, speed, and skill were immediately apparent. And although, yes, his career was shorter than probably most of the people on this list that are on here today, it was nothing short of extraordinary. Over 9 seasons with the Lions, he redefined the wide receiver position, earning a reputation for remarkable catches helped out by his incredible catch radius. Only 2 of Johnson's seasons did not surpass the 1,000-yard mark, with his best coming in a stunning 2012 campaign. In 2012, Johnson had 122 receptions for 1,964 yards, which still stands as the all-time single-season record for receiving yards. It was simply an outrageous effort, made even more impressive by a 1,681-yard, 16-touchdown effort 1 year earlier, and a 1,492-yard, 12-touchdown effort 1 year later. That's 5,137 yards and 33 touchdowns in 3 seasons between 2011 and 2013. In total, Johnson racked up 11,619 yards and 83 touchdowns across his 9 seasons in the league. For his efforts, he was awarded 6 Pro Bowl rings and 3 first-team All-Pros, while also leading the league in receiving yards twice. Johnson has already been inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but his career will also be remembered for a lack of team accolades because of his unfortunate placement on a woeful Detroit Lions side. After performing backup duties through his rookie season, Joe Montana's first opportunity to show what he could do came in October of his sophomore season. Against the LA Rams, Montana completed 21 of 33 pass attempts for 253 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. The team lost that game, but euphoria wasn't far away. A new golden era of 49er football had just begun. Joe Montana fully took over the starter duties the following year in 1981, which was his 3rd year in the league. He promptly took the team to Super Bowl glory that year, then to 3 more championships in the 8 years that followed. With him at the helm, the 49ers were a truly dominant force, forming one of the league's greatest dynasties. And one of the primary reasons of just honestly that team's success during that time was because of Montana's clutch performances and his ability to have so many come-from-behind victories. And as a result of that, he earned the nickname Joe Cool. Montana was a 2-time MVP winner and an 8-time Pro Bowler, racking up 40,551 yards and 273 touchdowns in a time when passing was much less prominent than it is now. One of his most iconic plays came in the 1989 championship game, where he led a last-minute drive that culminated in a touchdown pass to John Taylor that famously became known as the KRICH. Montana was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2000. Now, Randy Moss's time in the NFL started with an absolute bang, catching 4 passes for 95 yards and 2 touchdowns in his debut to help the Minnesota Vikings defeat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers by 31 points to 7. It was clear straight away that the Vikings had picked a good one, with size, speed, and athleticism all on display in an impressive debut. This then set the tone for what would be a spectacular rookie season in which Moss's 1,313 yards and 17 touchdowns were enough to win him the Offensive Rookie of the Year award, in addition to securing his first Pro Bowl and first Team All-Pro selections. Throughout his impressive 14-year career, Moss played for several teams, including the Vikings, Raiders, Patriots, Titans, and 49ers. His most jaw-dropping performance came in 2007, his first year as a Patriot, when his 1,493 yards and 23 touchdowns helped the team produce an unbeaten 16-0 regular season record. Unfortunately though, Moss never got the ring that he deserved. Moss surpassed the 1,000-yard mark in 10 of his 12 first seasons in the league, contributing to an impressive career total of 15,292 yards, which is 4th most all-time, and 156 touchdowns, which is 2nd most all-time. In total, he collected 4 first-team All-Pro selections and 6 Pro Bowls. He also led the league in receiving touchdowns 5 times, in addition to winning the Offensive Rookie of the Year award and the Comeback Player of the Year award. The great wide receiver's legacy remains strong, with the phrase "mossed" commonly being used to describe a receiver going up and catching the ball above a defender. And don't hate me now, because this is now the 3rd Patriot that is on this list, and I mean, it's just hard not to include this guy, as Rob Gronkowski is he's the greatest tight end of all time, but it was actually crazy to see that his career didn't start off that great in his first game. Just one pass was sent in his direction in his debut against Cincinnati on September 9, 2010, but he made it count. The one catch turned into a 1-yard reception, helping New England land a 38-24 victory. Gronk quickly became known for his tough catches, physicality, and ability to block, making him the ultimate tight end. Over his 9 seasons with the Patriots, Gronkowski was a regular target for Tom Brady, with both players proving pivotal in the 3 Super Bowl winning campaigns that came during their tenure. Their special bond was reignited in Tampa Bay after Gronkowski took a season off in retirement. Now donning the red and black of the Buccaneers, the Hall of Fame partnership was just as good, winning yet another title helped out by 2 touchdowns from Gronk in the Super Bowl. In the 11 seasons that Gronk played in the NFL, he collected 9,286 yards and 92 touchdowns, earning himself 4 Super Bowl rings, 4 first-team All-Pros, and 5 Pro Bowl appearances. He led the league in receiving touchdowns in 2011 with 17, and also won the Comeback Player of the Year award in 2014. Now, having been selected 3rd overall in the draft, Sanders entered the league with a lot of hype, and he delivered on the first opportunity. In his debut against the Phoenix Cardinals on September 10, 1989, Sanders took 9 carries for 71 yards and a touchdown. The touchdown proved to be crucial, with the team edging out a narrow 16-13 victory. And I mean, that was a quality debut for Barry Sanders, and I mean, it just continued from there. Consistency was the name of the game with Sanders, posting at least 1,100 yards in each of 10 seasons in the NFL. His worst effort of 1,115 yards came in 1993 in a season where he only played 11 games. Such was his dominance that the great running back averaged over 1,500 yards and 9 touchdowns per year, highlighted by an epic 1997 campaign. In 1997, Sanders broke the elusive 2,000-yard mark, joining a small group of running backs to achieve the feat and winning him the prestigious NFL MVP award. His 15,269 yards are 4th on the all-time rushing yard leaderboard, earning him 6 first-team All-Pros and 10 Pro Bowls, 1 for every season he played. He also led the league in rushing yards 4 times, in rushing touchdowns once, and was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2004. Now, Adrian Peterson set the tone early, collecting 103 yards on his debut against Atlanta at a healthy clip of 5.4 yards per carry. It was an impressive start to his career as a Viking, made even better by the fact that he also took a single reception for another 60 yards and a touchdown. Peterson's rookie season was absolutely remarkable, setting a new single-game rushing record with 296 rushing yards against the Chargers, on his way to a 1,341-yard, 12-touchdown stat line that won him the Offensive Rookie of the Year award. Plenty of more accolades came his way over the following years, with Peterson quickly asserting himself as an elite running back. 1,760 yards led the league in 2008, which he did again in 2012, this time with a whopping 2,097-yard rushing effort. He was an absolute machine that year, averaging 6 yards per carry and punching in 12 touchdowns, which was enough to win him the MVP award. What made this even more impressive is that it came the season after in which he tore his ACL. And I mean, while there were no Super Bowl titles in Peterson's career, he still will go down as easily one of the greatest running backs to ever play that position. His 14,918 yards are 5th on the all-time leaderboard, and his 120 touchdowns are 4th most all-time. On top of the MVP award he won, Peterson also earned 4 first-team All-Pros, 7 Pro Bowls, in the Offensive Player of the Year award, also in 2012. And to go along with that too, he led the league in rushing yards 3 times and in touchdowns twice, surely going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. Now, Ray Lewis's remarkable career in Baltimore kicked off against the Oakland Raiders on September 1st, 1996. He wasted no time in showing what he could do, winning the AFC Defensive Player of the Week because of his 7-tackle performance that also featured an interception. His impact was pivotal in helping to secure a 19-14 victory. After this, there was no slowing Lewis down. He quickly established himself as one of the NFL's best linebackers, leading the league in tackles in 1997 and 1999 before being named the Defensive Player of the Year in 2000. During that incredible 2000 campaign, his 136 tackles, 3 sacks, and 2 interceptions also led the Baltimore Ravens to a Super Bowl title. He then earned his second ring 12 years later, proving his longevity and dedication to Baltimore. His best year came in 2003 though, in which his 161 tackles, 1.5 sacks, and 6 interceptions secured him the 2nd Defensive Player of the Year award. He was truly a machine at the heart of the defense, finishing with 2,050 combined tackles and 1,558 solo tackles. which are both enough to land atop the all-time leaderboards. In addition to winning 2 Super Bowls and 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards, Lewis also collected 7 first-team All-Pros and 13 Pro Bowl selections. But I want to know what you guys think. Did we leave anybody off this list? And if we do another one of these, who should we try to cover next? If we do another like 5 or 7 players, drop them down in the comment section below who we should do next. And as always, if you guys have not, make sure you join my Discord. That is where we are going to be doing all of our NCAA dynasties, all of our NFL pick'em stuff once the season does start, as long as fantasy leagues too. But make sure that you guys join there if you want to be a part of all of that stuff. And as always, I will catch you guys in the next one.